lawyer stuff. That's what I was told, was that it would just be logistically impossible. I don't know anything more beyond that. I do know that when I've spoken to people, the people that I've spoken with at CBS have been very complimentary of our show. They think it's great. They've told me so. In fact, they could have shut us down, but they didn't shut us down. They let us finish. They allowed us to finish the series. So I don't. I that's the only answer that I've ever been given as to why, a network wouldn't be able to, to pick us up and fund us to continue to make episodes.
Well, but
I have another.
Well, I was going to jump in real quick,
when
Mark.
Paramount brought in J.J. Abrams to do the new movie series. Now, they're doing the original characters. They're doing Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Enterprise, and they're doing it. So everybody signed off on that. But the deal that they cut with J.J. Abrams was that they would only focus on his movies. They would not do Kirk, Spock, McCoy in any other realm while he was involved doing these movies. Now, I think he's stepped out now, and Quentin Tarantino is doing the new one. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So that may no longer apply. But that was the big problem there for a couple of years, is because that was their deal to get him to come on board. But yeah, right. I mean, Vic is right.
Well,
I mean,
and another
factor,
Mark, and I think Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish, please.
No, I was saying you're right. There's all that stuff that goes on behind the scenes, all the legalities and all the things of that nature, which is in my new books about the 1970s. Why it took so long for Star Trek to come back anyway. And you find out the popularity was there. They knew they were going to make money if they brought it back. It was just a matter of the business deals and so forth. So there's stuff that goes on that we can't really know about unless we're in those rooms behind those locked doors. Yeah.
No, it's called franchising, selling toys, selling figures, selling, comics, selling this. I mean, even right now with the new one that's coming out, that's one of the things that they I was reading about the costumes. All of a sudden, the people who make all this product, that's where, let's face it, that's where the studio makes a lot of their money from, is selling, they didn't like the costumes, so they had to revamp it again, which cost them a lot of money to do it. I can see that. Mm-hmm. But if they can bring in a series that doesn't cost much to produce it, I'm saying compared to what it costs now.
It's the best case scenario. It's a perfect scenario. It doesn't cost much, and it can make a lot. I mean, that's what every studio dreams of.
That's what I'm trying to say is...
And they get over these hurdles when they're selling tribbles. They get over the hurdles when they're selling Kirk shirts. They get over the hurdles when they're selling a new paperback based on the original series or a comic book. So, I mean, all it takes is somebody in those rooms to say, let's do it.
Yeah, and the amount of money it would take to do all this other stuff, let's face it, what I gather for the production cost is going to be so much way less than what they're doing now. So, I mean, I don't see why they would even consider it. Have you ever tried to get a write-in campaign to CBS or anything going for support of what you're doing?
I have not personally, because I don't really feel like that's my place. I'm not inclined to push my own show. If there are fans that are interested, that's one thing.
Well, I'm going to say this, okay? After watching what I saw today, I'm very impressed. It made me feel like I was watching the original Star Trek, right down to the gestures, to the bridge, everything. It just made me feel good, which I haven't been able to do with Discovery or the Enterprise or the two movies, with the Captain Kirk. I'm sorry, I couldn't get into it. I walked out of the movie with my wife. I said, I can't even watch this. And when it was on TV, I couldn't even watch it, on cable. I just didn't like it. I didn't have any feeling towards it. Maybe what it would take the people listening to my show to tell their friends, get on their Facebook, and there is a couple different big groups with over 100,000 on some of them on Facebook, on Star Trek, to sit there and say, hey, write into CBS and say, why can't we have this? Why do we have to watch what you're dumping out?
Yeah, why do we have to have
meatloaf
on the menu when we could have T-bones? Well, that's what brought Star Trek back in the first place, was the fans demanding it and the corporations resisting, but you finally got it. Here's something of immense quality. I feel the magic of Star Trek when I watch Star Trek Continues. And while I was associated with it, I was associated with it in a minor way, so I feel I can compliment it without it sounding like I'm tooting my horn. And so I feel that what you felt, Gary, watching those episodes, is I feel that it captured the lightning in the bottle. It captured it again. And all these other sequels haven't, in my mind, even though they've all been entertaining or good in their own way. So it's really about the fans just saying, here's what we want, corporation, listen. So from your lips to the corporation's ears, you can get it if you want it. But it takes a little effort, a little work, some passion. But you can see 11 pilots for this show.
Oh, yeah.
A brilliant cast, a brilliant production thing. And again, so many of these people worked on the other series and worked on the movies, but came out and worked on this one for free because this one was fun. This is what they wanted to watch.
Yeah, and it shows.
And Gary, we've had a lot of guest stars too. We've had guest stars from Doctor Who and Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers and Buffy and Star Wars and on the list goes. We've had a lot of really great guest stars.
Well, because they wanted to be on it. They wanted to be part of the Enterprise of Star Trek.
Yeah, they just loved the original Star Trek, and they wanted to be a part of it.
Now, I got a question.
Wait a minute,
you had
Mark. People on from the original Star Trek, like Michael Forrest and who else? Michael Forrest and who else, Vic? From the original series, coming
John
back and
Delancey
reprising
from
their
Next
roles.
Generation. Hello?
Yeah. Hey, you still there? Hey, I got to ask you both a question. The radio stations are going to...
I just said John Delancey from Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, hey, the radio stations are going to drop off in 10 minutes, but I want to continue on about another half an hour, at least on the internet part.
Sure.
Are you guys game?
I am not able to. I've unfortunately I had to step away from what was going on here just to even get this time. So I apologize for that, but I would love, Gary, if you're interested, I would especially after you watch the rest of the series, I would love to come back on and talk with you more.
Well, I would like to have you on. Now, I want to find out, maybe next time we get on, what was all involved building the sets, what, the hands-on, what was done on each episode and all that. I want to get into the, the gritty part of this. And people on here are asking me that.
Well, here's what's nice is your listeners who are not familiar with Star Trek Continues can go watch these episodes before you do the next show. And then they're going to be able to visualize everything that's being talked about, which I think will make it a lot of fun for them. Gary, I'm happy to stay with you a little bit longer. If you want to do some more general talk about Star Trek, we can do that, or maybe some of your listeners would like to call in. And I'll look forward to Vic being back on the show later when everyone's seen the show and can call in and chat about it.
Absolutely. star-treck-continues.com
is
where everything lives, Gary. They can watch all the episodes. They can watch dozens and dozens of behind-the-scenes videos, blooper reels, making of certain episodes, features on the VFX or the music or the story writing or set building, any number of things. There's an awful lot of wonderful material there.
Oh, yeah, and actually, too, if we can get you back on maybe in a month if you got time, we can do that. Maybe you can also have your agent send me some pictures of you building sets and what for people understand.
I can send you some of those.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I can send you some of those. Yeah, drop me an email and let's schedule another time in a month or so, and I'll drop you plenty of nice things that you can use. Okay?
We'll have our agent get you some audio bites of the audiobook. That's a great idea. Now. Yeah,
great idea.
Because to talk about it is one thing. You got to hear this thing that Vic has produced, 28 hours long, the entire first book that I wrote, with 80 actors in it doing all the different voices, and a lot of the original people like Dorothy Fontana reading her memos from 1966 and 67. And it's really, I didn't think I'd want to listen to it because I wrote the book. I thought, I know all this. And they sent it over to me, and I just popped it in just to hear what it sounded like. And Vic introduces it, and there's Rod Roddenberry, and all these people start coming on. And, he says, and then Gene Roddenberry wrote, and then this voice comes in, and it sounds like Gene Roddenberry, and he's got the music stings and everything else, and it's just, I sat there for an hour listening to one of these chapters. I could not stop listening to it, even though I had written it, and it's a pretty amazing experience, and all the credit goes to Vic.
Oh, it does. Now, we're again...
I appreciate that. But anyone that has any love for the original Star Trek would absolutely love these books. Yeah. Mark,
and you can find that at thesearethevoyagesbooks.com. Thesearethevoyagesbooks.com, and that's where you can find the books, but you can also find the audiobook.
Now, Vic, is there any appearances you're going to be doing that you want to promote?
I've got several coming up soon. I'm going to, actually, this coming weekend, I'm going to be at the Puerto Rico Comic-Con. And then in a few weeks, I'll be in Houston. I'll be in Tennessee. I'll be in San Jose. I'll be...
I'll tell you what, have your agent...
In Savannah, Georgia.
Have your agent give me a list of where you're going to be for the next month or so, or till summer. I'll put it up on the website.
Oh, that'd be great. And, of course, on the 24th to 26th weekend of May, I'll be at the studio. I'll be at our Star Trek-Continues studio. So.
And that's where people can go and see and get a tour of the whole studio, the whole setup of the Enterprise, and they'll walk you around and show you things, tell you how things were built, and all that stuff, and you get to meet Vic.
Well, the sets are the real star. You got anyone?
Well, he'll be Captain
absolutely
Kirk,
be enthralled.
Yeah, Captain Kirk.
Which shirt will you be wearing, Vic? The wraparound or the regular one? Yeah.
Oh, I will not be in uniform. I'll be in my street clothes.
Oh, no.
No, you need to be in uniform. That would make it so much more awesome.
Oh my gosh! No, thank you. No, that's just a little too scary.
Too bad you couldn't get Shatner to be there for that studio thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That would be so crazy.
That would be really neat. Yes. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for letting me join you again. I apologize for having some emergencies come up that I missed the beginning, but let's do this again in about a month, Gary and Mark. Always a pleasure to be here on with you, and hope forward to doing it again soon.
Well, thank you for coming on, Vic. I really enjoyed having you on.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
You take care.
And bye-bye.
Bye. So anyway, we're going to have to go on a break here in a minute, but I was wondering, maybe we can go another 15 minutes after the break. I have to. I drank too much diet tea.
Sure.
And about 3 minutes from now, if I don't run to the little boys' room, I'm going to have a problem. But I'll tell you one thing. The listeners tonight have been chatting on here. They really like what they've seen and heard tonight. And I tell you,
let's hear from them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not set up to take any phone calls tonight, and undoubtedly, I'm sorry.
Maybe you can read a few questions from their emails.
Well, I can certainly do that. There's been a lot of them. They wanted to know, like, Gene Roddenberry's wife, for example, what she thought of, what he was doing. Any feedback?
Which wife? I can tell you from both points of view.
Okay, well, both of them.
You go get rid of that tea, and I'll be here when you get back.
Well, I still got 2 minutes before I have to pull the plug. So anyway, I think tonight...
In the old radio days, this is when they would put on Inagata Devita,
Yeah.
And then the DJ could go out back and have a smoke and let that thing play, or Stairway to Heaven. He could go out back and have a smoke because that thing would run for about 10 minutes.
When I was young, I used to, from Seattle, we lived in Seattle. I used to, I've been infatuated with radio all my life. And I used to walk from Seattle, where we lived, West Seattle, down to Harbor Island, where all the radio stations were. My favorite radio station was KOL. The DJ was Danny Holiday. And I was probably about 13 years old. I used to walk that 9-mile trip down to Harbor Island. And then he would do little things like, he got to know me, and a record would be playing. And he goes, hey, I got to go somewhere.